The broom scraped softly against the polished floors of Zenith Innovations, a rhythm as steady as a heartbeat. Jamal Carter, all of 12 years old, pushed it with care, his small hands gripping the handle his mother, Lena, had held for years as the company's night cleaner. The vast lab, glowing faintly under dim lights, was a cathedral of glass and steel, filled with prototypes that promised to touch the stars. Jamal's eyes, wide with wonder, lingered on a sleek, metallic sphere, a propulsion prototype his mother had whispered once, forbidden to touch. But tonight, curiosity burned brighter than caution that he glanced at the security cameras, then reached out, his fingers brushing the sphere's cool surface. It hummed faintly, as if alive. For a moment, he felt like he was part of something bigger, something cosmic. Then the lab doors slammed open. "Boy, what are you doing?" barked a voice, sharp as a whip. Mr. Grayson, the CEO, loomed in the doorway, his face a storm of fury. Lena rushed in behind him, her apron twisted in her hands, her eyes wide with fear. "Jamal, I told you to stay in the break room," she whispered, her voice trembling. Grayson's gaze flicked to the prototype, then back to Jamal. "You touched it. A multi-million-dollar project, and you, a cleaner's kid, think you can just waltz in here?" His voice was ice. "Lena, you're lucky I don't fire you on the spot. But him? He's done. Don't bring him back." Jamal's heart sank. He wanted to explain, to say it was just a moment, but the words stuck in his throat. Lena's hand gripped his shoulder, pulling him away as Grayson turned back to his empire of machines. In the car, Lena's silence was heavier than any scolding. "I'm sorry, Mama," Jamal whispered, staring at his sneakers. She only sighed, her hands tight on the wheel. Jamal wasn't like other kids in their small Atlanta neighborhood. While his friends played basketball or scrolled on phones, he devoured library books on physics, sketched rocket designs in tattered notebooks, and dreamed of stars. Lena worked double shifts to keep the lights on, and Jamal knew every dollar was a sacrifice. Bringing him to Zenith was her way of keeping him safe after school, but he'd always been drawn to the lab's mysteries. Now, he'd ruined it. The next morning, Lena left for work, her face etched with worry. Jamal stayed home, grounded, his sketchbook open but untouched. Guilt gnawed at him. He'd let her down. Around noon, the phone rang, an unknown number. Jamal hesitated, then answered. "Is this Jamal Carter?" The voice was crisp, professional. "This is Dr. Elena Torres from NASA's Jet Propulsion Laboratory." Jamal froze, certain it was a mistake. Yes, ma'am. We received an anonymous email last night with a video from Zenith Innovations' security feed. It showed you interacting with their propulsion prototype. The sphere activated in a way our team has been trying to achieve for months. Can you tell me what you did?" Jamal's mind raced. "The security footage?" He stammered. "I just touched it. I pressed the panel near the base, like a switch. It felt right." Dr. Torres's voice softened. "Jamal, that switch isn't in any of our schematics. You triggered a dormant stabilization sequence we didn't even know existed. We need to meet you. Today." Hours later, Jamal and Lena sat in a sleek NASA office, surrounded by engineers in lab coats. Dr. Torres, a woman with kind eyes and a commanding presence, showed them the footage. There was Jamal, small and curious, pressing the panel. The sphere glowed, its internal mechanisms aligning perfectly. "This could revolutionize our lunar lander program," she said. "Jamal, you've got an instinct for this." "A gift." Lena's eyes welled up, but she held her chin high. "He's always been like that. Sees things others don't." Dr. Torres smiled. "We'd like to offer Jamal a spot in our youth STEM program, fully funded. And, Lena, we could use someone with your work ethic on our facilities team. What do you say?" Lena squeezed Jamal's hand, her voice breaking. "You mean we're not in trouble?" "Trouble?" Dr. Torres laughed. "You raised a genius." That evening, back at Zenith, Grayson sat at his desk, reviewing the same footage. An assistant had sent it to NASA on a whim, hoping to cover their tracks after the prototype's unexpected activation. Now, NASA's call had turned Grayson's world upside down. He'd fired the boy who'd solved a puzzle his engineers couldn't. Shame crept into his chest. Unfamiliar and sharp, he drove to the Carter's modest apartment, his sleek car out of place on the cracked street. When Lena opened the door, her expression hardened. "What do you want, Mr. Grayson?" He cleared his throat and used to humility. "I made a mistake. Jamal, He's extraordinary. I'd like to fund his education, personally. And I want you both to come back to Zenith. Not as cleaners, but as part of our team. Lena hesitated, pride warring with hope. Jamal stepped forward, his voice steady. Mama, we can do more good if we're in the room, not outside it. The emotional climax came that night, as Lena and Jamal sat on their porch, stars glittering above. Lena pulled him close. You didn't just touch that prototype, baby. You touched the future. Jamal smiled, his sketchbook open again, a new rocket design taking shape. Months later, Jamal stood in a NASA lab, his name on a badge, his ideas sparking discussions among engineers. Lena, now a facilities supervisor, watched from the sidelines, her heart full. Grayson, too, had changed, mentoring Jamal, learning to listen to the quiet voices in the room. The stars above Atlanta shone brighter that year, as if celebrating a boy who dared to reach for them. And in every heart that heard Jamal's story, a spark ignited, a reminder that kindness, curiosity, and second chances could light the way to a better world.